Welcome back to another Disorderly Game Reviews brought to you by Transcendent Studios. Today we're walking through Gris, be it level 4 or the color yellow today. And this review comes from a standpoint of individuals who are dealing with social anxiety disorders like PTSD or generalized anxiety disorder, or any other disorders that make it difficult to deal with individuals or situations. We'll be discussing those issues in our review today and in our walkthrough, and we enjoy people to come share their stories, share their hurts, share their victories, and walk alongside each other in healing and becoming the people we want to be. And I found that fun and engagement is part of that, which is why I'm doing a playthrough of Gris and opening it up for others to step in and share their stories. Had a great time a couple of streams ago, and had some great stories shared in chat. So we invite you all to come on in and join the crew. Off we go with Gris, the color yellow. Looks like the save started me back in the color blue. So we only have a little bit to go here before, here we are, the color yellow occurs. Again, this game is, I like how it's open to interpretation. Doesn't give away much of a story, doesn't shout too much what it's really trying to say. Leaves a lot of it up to the player's interpretation. I like that there was a lot of water and depth to the blue level. We'll see what the yellow level brings. Yellow tends to be a happier color by most people's standards, so we'll see what the level's like. What does yellow mean to you when you think of yellow? What emotions, what thoughts, what memories come to mind? Again, if you are joining us on the YouTube repost of this, we'd love to hear your answers down in the comments. We're a community there as well, so feel free to share answers to all these questions, your story, your hurts, your victories. Share it all. Again, the bird imagery. We were sharing how bird imagery in so many different nationalities is an imagery of things that steal or bad things. I guess I don't know much moray eel imagery, but maybe I'll ask my friends from Fiji or other islands if there's an imagery or an understanding of eels and what they represent. I remember the first time I played this game that this was a very stressful interaction, and I didn't know that this wasn't something that I was in control of up until this point. It's the only part of the game I remembered because of how stressful it was. Of course, if you've heard our other streams, I first played this game when I was going through like clinical insanity and depression, and was hoping that it would bring some relief to that or help with that, and I don't know that it did at the time. But it is a patient and a beautiful game, which, in a sense, those two things tend to help those kind of situations a lot. And at the time, I was bedridden and could do little else other than read and play video games at the time. That was before my eyesight stopped due to my sickness. And so eventually I wasn't even able to play video games. But luckily, since December, I've been taking a new drug that's really been helping and has brought my eyesight back a little bit. I have limited amounts of time in front of screens and with images that move. So I totally don't remember how this whole situation gets resolved. I think I'm about to find out, though. Ah, the turtle we saved. Perfect. Here's a good question for everybody on the chat or in YouTube. When have you experienced friends from the past coming in and helping you or saving you in a situation that you didn't expect? Feel free to share those stories with us as well. That'd be great. I think those kind of encouragements are things we all need to remember. Wonder where I'm going now. Yeah, I do like that the blue level was often cold and submerged. I wonder what the yellow will be. Ah, nice. Kind of what I was hoping it would be, like a hopeful light or some semblance of that. Perfect. I like kind of the light giving hints of the future. Kind of showing you what to expect. Has there been things that people have shared with you that have kind of shown you hidden things in your future and what to expect? similar to these, kind of lights. Another thing I really enjoy about this game is that as it progresses, it keeps all the attributes of the previous levels kind of active. Nice. Interesting to be traveling in the dark so much in this kind of level of light. But I wonder what's to the right over there. Oh, absolutely nothing. Just a pass through for where we were. When I see games that are this creative, I often wonder how I would have done things differently, how I would have changed the mechanics or the look. I'm not an artist in too many, by too many people's definition. There are some things that I do enjoy and participate artist-wise, be it writing or clothing designs. But I'm definitely not a game designer or an environmental artist or an architect for that matter. So for those of you who are, I know that some of my followers and friends are artists, and I would love to hear your what would you change? What parts of this game do you like? What parts of this game do you think could really be switched around a little bit? And I really wonder what I missed coming into this room that I should have seen. Oh, fun. So creative. Love it. What a lovely game. Another question for chat and YouTube. What games have you felt mimic life well, mimic situations well, like the unknown and discovery and travel? I kind of like this game because of its really nondescript presentation, where it kind of requires you to make connections from your own life or your own mind as they relate. It's interesting that this level is much more I guess I would call it on rails than the other levels. It's a lot of even the beginning with the moray eel wasn't anything other than a very basic kind of on rails experience. A little bit of movement, a little bit of choices, but that's about it. And now we're already to the constellation part of this level, which I find interesting. And there was no way to go any direction other than what I went. It's just a whole bunch of okay, here we go. It starts to open up a bit. We start to get some choices. Oh, is this where we came previously? It must be. I do recall that symbol, that image. Now there's some lights here, though. I wonder if that changes up how things work. Ooh, those are getting filled in quite a bit more adequately. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I went this way already. Yep. Yeah, I might even be getting okay at platforming after all this. I do relish that this game is so very forgiving in platforming. From somebody who can't beat Sonic, or especially Mario. It's nice to have a game that's achievable and that I don't feel like I'm constantly endangering myself and are never going to make it out. I wonder how close I was to that. Made it. What is all the way over here? It's like a whole bunch of nothing. Yep. Lovely. Another thing I relish about this game that it constantly has lovely environments, lovely concepts, lovely ideas, and it has common shapes and ideas, but it's very non-repetitive. It's very what was that all about? Oh, how neat. Very much lighting the way. Love that this game is full of so many different dynamics and concepts. I hope I didn't just lose my only help here. I guess we'll find out. Wow. Game is really, really captivating. So beautiful all the time, so different. So far in watching this, what's your favorite level been? Red? Yellow? Blue? Green? I think for me, I'm kind of relishing the uniqueness of the yellow level. I liked the challenges of the blue level with the kind of mind teasers and the water orientedness. I think I just like the visual style of this level so much. The uniqueness of things coming to light, so to speak, and being seen and all that. Ooh, running out of time too. That's kind of crazy. And I just lost it. Because I platform like crap. There's an interesting little analogy. Are there things in your life you feel that have shown for a second, and because you've missed it, you've missed that opportunity? Or do you feel like that's really kind of an illusion? I know for a fact that there's plenty of things that I wish I would have understood, and made better choices in. But I really question how much indeed gets lost. Of course, this is somebody who's talking from a position of losing absolutely everything in their life. I lost my health 2 years ago, lost my job, lost our finances, we're on the verge of losing our home. Everything except for my wife, I have lost, including my eyesight, but parts of it are coming back, and so I don't know. It's things like that that make the question of did I miss something or forever lose something. I really kind of question that. I think that is because God has proven himself to be so good in so many ways. I've lost everything in my life a couple of times. Been down to $1,000 in the bank. Now we're negative thousands. But back when I thought only having $1,000 in the bank was horrible. Now I know that you can have a good deal less than that. But in some unique way, God has carried us through every time. And I guess waiting for his deliverance right now, in a sense, because of I'm at a place where I wish I could get a job, but I just don't have the physical ability to. I have about 30 or 40 minutes of like what I would call effort-based time a day, doing things like washing dishes or taking walks. And I'm just getting to the place where I can enjoy even looking at a TV screen for about 45 minutes or so a day. And that's why I'm taking that time to spend it with you, as well as learn a bit about myself, even while playing these games. And hopefully have a community that can get together and work through these things together. Find games and apps and programs that really bless each other and bless our walks and get us where we want to be, not just deal with life reactively. I think that's something I've done far too long in my life, is I've just responded to things instead of been a little more proactive with choices in my life. Which is why I think it's so important to share our stories, share what we're going through, share our victories, share the ways that we've seen things work. It's so important to do. So again, I ask in chat and in YouTube to share your stories. What ways have you been victorious in this terribly hard 2020 season? And if you're still here, you've been victorious in some way, shape, or form. So I want to encourage you to share that and to acknowledge how awesome you've been to even make it. Because I know it's been hard, but you're here, and I'm here, and we're making it through. So, what's your story? Share it with us. It means so much. And of course, if this channel is helping you and giving you a place where you can be you and move forward, let us know by liking and subscribing, by following us on Twitch and on YouTube. It's free for you, and it means a ton for us. I really enjoy how all the colors are represented in this level. The blues, the greens, the reds, the yellows. Wonder where I'm supposed to be going now. Could I go any further left? Nope. So up we go. I like it. It's almost like ASMR game. Gentle sounds, deep voice with a lot of life questions. I hope you're enjoying it. I often enjoy asking questions and answering them myself. It's really important to begin to choose and know why we choose and believe the things we believe. Oh, crazy. I find this to be a section I totally don't like. I mean, I love how it looks, but not a fan of upside down stuff, especially with the vertigo issues I've experienced with my health and death experience. I've had almost constant vertigo for well over 900 days, and it's pretty horrible. I always thought vertigo was a I don't know, some sort of excuse or some sort of crazy notion. I used to be a sailor. Well, I still am a sailor, and God willing, someday I'll be there again. So, being at 45 degrees and rocking all over the place was, heck, where I really enjoyed myself. And now even getting up from laying down can be an experience much like being seasick, which I've never been. I had no idea what seasick was even about. But I know all too well now, so this is an experience. This level is a little more than, I guess it's still not bad. I mean, I've even occasionally watched, Super Mario Maker videos, which I love, because I can't do it. I love to watch and enjoy things I have no skill at, because it's so beautiful to watch skillful people do it. And as I've described multiple times here, I am atrocious at platforming, especially Mario games. And I think I was able to narrow that down to the fact that Mario is so so controllable while in the air, and I think that that's where I tend to have issues with it. I usually think that when you're jumping, but now Mario has an amazing amount of intricacies in while he's cruising through the air. And I think my brain just considers a jump a foregone conclusion. When you jump, and that's the end of the jump. And so it's hard for me to think that I can control that. Where did I just lose those guys? Okay. Where do I want to go here? Let's get up on top of this thing. Perfect. Again, I feel like I'm playing a game in a spa, all these little bird noises and gorgeous backgrounds. It really is quite a lovely game. This upside down thing is really crazy. I don't know if I want to call it trippy or not. God, I still am not in love with it by any means. No matter how nice and good it looks. platforming prowess is being exemplified here. Attempt what? 6? There we go. Get my little bird followers. All right. Oh, yeah. Thanks for the recommendation, Mushi. You know, that and your other recommendation, I looked at Stardew Valley. I was really kind of hot to trot on that one, because I kind of like that idea. You know, the patient farming and other fun things like that. However, back when I had such problems with my eyes, a lot of those little repetitive click type kind of games were really difficult for me to engage and master. How have you liked Stardew Valley? I hear it's the absolute best of its genre, and there's about 30 of that kind of genre on the Switch, which is what I own, Switch or computer. Oh, okay, so I got to get up there somehow. Yeah. I like certain parts of it. Certain parts of the idea I really like. The things that keep me away from like Stardew Valley and the bonfire, that I find to be fairly difficult, are it's very task oriented. Yeah, yep. It's too bad that Harvest Moon kind of. I hear the same company made a new one for Nintendo Switch as well. The one thing I dislike about both of those games are kind of the need to. I don't want to call it click. It's very task oriented, which to I think a lot of people helps with like dopamine and other really great like emotional things. But to me, from a guy who used to run 35 different IT businesses, it just feels like, oh, sweet. I love Switch, just so you know. I've owned one since the first week they came out, and it's the first system that I've ever owned on new. Every other system in my life has always been a generation or two behind. And I can't tell you how much I've loved the Switch. And when my eyes were failing me and I couldn't look at big moving things, like even 15-inch, my laptop has a 15-inch monitor, and I couldn't even watch that. My teeny little Switch screen was perfect for me because it didn't involve a lot of eye movement. And I tell you, it's amazing. Breath of the Wild is... People say it's perfection, and I fully agree. It's really almost spooky how beautiful that game is. My wife has clocked in tons of hours on that. When she was just taking care of me, it was kind of her only outlet. Yes, I agree. It's like the killer app. And, you know, something that I have, yep, that's why she loved it. And the beauty of it is, I think it's less work than things like Stardew Valley and the bonfire. It's so, you can take it at your own pace. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours, it's still enjoyable just to walk around that game. And I know you've heard other people saying that. It's just, it's amazing. Another game that's similar, that has a bit more kind of cognitive brain stuff to it, is the new one from, what is it? Let me see. I'll jump off real quick and go over to it. Fenyx Immortals Rising. It's like a cookie cutter copy of Zelda Breath of the Wild, but it's not as big. It's just as much fun. It's a little more customizable. You can get tons of armor and stuff like that. It's way cheaper than Breath of the Wild, but it's very, very close. Nice. That's awesome. And I think that's really what their goal is in Stardew Valley, is to encourage real life choices and kind of mimic the beauty of work and processing. And that's why I really think those games have such value. For me, again, it's kind of almost what do they want to say, like I don't want to say a sore point, but almost, because for 20 years I owned my own business and I worked my ass off and planned and programmed my own systems and all this other stuff. And so when all of that kind of got taken away from me when I died and got sick, it was really hard for me to invest in anything that wasn't feeding me, wasn't keeping the lights in my house on. The bonfire one, is that the one you're talking about? I haven't looked up the Journey game. I thought they were the same one, and you just found the name, the bonfire one. I'll definitely check the Journey game. That's the desert one, correct? Oh, interesting. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I tried, like I said, I love the visuals of the bonfire. It's nice, it's deep, it's dark. It's got the same kind of almost pastel-y, what do they call it? Watercolor is this. And it has some neat images and stuff like that, but it was a little too clicky for me. Just too much. I got to keep things alive, and it's hard for me to do that with where I'm at presently. I think that's why I relish things like Zelda and the Immortals Fenyx Rising game. I've been trying to do some game reviews for people who have PTSD and other disorders. And one of the attributes of those games is that I consider an important attribute is bite-sized. I find if with my stress or with the amount of time that I have, if I can't spend just 5 or 10 minutes on something, I can't really play it, because there are times where I just don't have more time than that. So I do love that certain games are very bite-sized or have a great save ability, like Zelda. And so I'll definitely look into that desert game, because that sounds right up my alley. And I hope you enjoy your Switch. I've loved everything about it. I owned a Generation 1 Switch and a Generation 2 Switch. And my original Generation 1 Switch, I eventually played the living tar out of it, and its battery failed. But as always, I buy a warranty from Best Buy, because if anything has a cord, I'll I'll get a warranty on it. And so they, of course, replaced it for free for me. And I love the second-gen Switch even better because... great question. Second-gen has a better screen, has better contrast between darks and lights. They have a better battery, which is really a benefit to me, and I've seen that. I've seen that play out almost from the day I've gotten it. Yep, that's the one that I have, and I think it's about the only one you can actually get nowadays. I don't think Gen 1s are out in the wild. There's been such a lack of ability to get a Switch. When I turned mine in for the warranty, it took me like 2-3 months just to get another one. It was crazy. I was like going through Switch withdrawal. But it was worth it because my old one's battery was really dying. We had spent thousands and thousands of hours playing that. And even when I couldn't play it anymore, my wife loved Zelda. The only game she's ever played on the Switch is Zelda, and I own 130 games. So I find that kind of comedic that she calls it her Zelda machine. Great question. If you go to Best Buy and buy a Switch, I think it's for $55. They will cover it against any type of damage or wear for 2 years. And there's no like copay on that. So in other words, I played my Switch for 2 years, and my battery was just barely holding on. Like I'd get maybe 30, 20 minutes out of it if it wasn't plugged in. And so I took it back, and they gave me all my money back, and I simply bought another Switch and another warranty, and off we go. I do know that there's new parts in the Switch controllers for the drift. However, as far as I know, it's the exact same. It seems to be the same issues, but new part numbers. And the only issue that I've ever had with drift is with one of my sets of controllers, and I have like 5, because I love having, at least at the time, I had multiple people playing. Yeah, I really love the new Switch. You know, I've never been what I would call a hardcore gamer. I've always been an enjoyment gamer. I did own a PS2, because apparently I'm human, and everybody on Earth owned a PS2. And I really enjoyed that. I loved racing games. And just a warning, racing games on the Switch are kind of crummy because the trigger buttons don't have, they aren't analog. However, there's a couple of good racing games, if you're into racing games, that let you use the analog sticks for gas and brake, and a couple that have automatic throttle controls for you, which is great. Thank you. That's a really great question. Thanks for asking that and for trusting me to answer it for you. What are your favorite kinds of games? What systems do you have, and what do you enjoy currently? And I'll have to look up what 30,000 rupees is in American dollars, but okay. Yep. Well, the good news is, you know, and I really love the Assassin's Creed games on the Switch. I really, those were one of my favorites before my eyes gave out on me. Um, because I loved how creative they were, how like visually complex they were, and they play great on the Switch, and they are dirt cheap. But they're only remakes. It's Assassin's Creed. I think it's 3, and the ship one. Doggone it, I forget. Let's go right there. I will show you out of all my crazy games here. The other thing I love about the Switch, um, I can just stop in the middle of any game like this and talk to you and jump right back in. It's amazing. You can hit pause on the top of the screen, put it in your bag, go to someplace, unpause it, and you're right where you picked up. It's amazing. I love that there's that ability. Okay, let's see here. Good Lord. Got a lot of games. Okay, here they are. The Rebel Collection and Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered. If you can get the cartridges, it's probably the best way to do it because they have a huge install size. And one of the main drawbacks of the Switch is the 32 gigs of info of space that it has on its hard drive. One of the first things I would do is buy a good minimum of 120 gig card, because if you buy other things like Bug Fables or all these other games, they take up plenty of space, and the 32 gigs disappears in no time. But that being said, both of these games are about 15 bucks, and you can get them in cartridge form or just in download form for 15 bucks. I don't know if that's what you want to keep playing, if you've already played them before, but they're a blast, and they have all the DLC included in them for $15, which is really saying something. Let's see. You can't go wrong with Zelda, but if you're really tight with your finances, like uber tight, and you want something that's like Zelda, Immortals Phoenix Rising is amazing for under $35. It's hard to argue with that. It's like a Zelda lookalike. It doesn't have the kind of relaxing kind of flow that Zelda has. It's a lot more engaging. It's like if Zelda and Assassin's Creed mixed. There's way less driven storyline like Assassin's Creed. It's more open and relaxed like Zelda, but it's still a little more intense than Zelda. I don't know if you're a Minecraft person, but Minecraft is dirt cheap on the Switch, and it runs like $1 million bucks. If you're an RPG person, in my opinion, I never could get into RPGs because of their, like, I don't know, design and their playability. Dragon Quest XI is amazing. I could play it forever. It looks like $1 million bucks. It plays like $1 million bucks. Good storyline, good character acting, reasonable save points throughout the game, so you don't feel too pressured to play forever. It's top notch, and you can find it if you're lucky for under 40 bucks. So there's a couple that I really enjoy. If you love things like, let's see, we're working on a writing. Oh, nice. Wow, that'd be awesome. It'd be great to be able to. Yeah, back when I owned my own business and was making six figures, that's where 140 games comes from. I just had, pretty much unlimited funds, because we live really, really low on the horse, so to speak. I paid off my house first and, got all my debt out of the way before things like that. What other systems have you owned in the past? Just 360? Okay. Did you like your Sega? And was it the Master System, or was it like the original Sega? You'd have to be really old to have the. Ah, nice. Wow, the original Game Boy or Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance? You're starting to surprise me because I had a Game Boy in '94, which is, you know, back around when they started to come out. Ah, okay. Did you like Sonic? Did you like that kind of stuff? What games did you? Wow, look at you go! Original Game Boy. That's terrific. Nice. I know a lot of people who still love their PSPs, and I think Switch is like the. I might get killed for saying it, but generally the successor of it. Oh, well, the beauty of Switch is it's loaded with Pokemon, and I have a friend that plays a ton of Pokemon Snap. Yeah, isn't that terrible? And I love that. Oh, one other thing that I'd highly recommend if you end up getting Nintendo Switch is plan on $20 a year for the Switch Online or Nintendo Online. The reason for that is it allows you to save all your games remotely, just in case you have a problem. And if you have members of your family, it saves all of their games on the cloud as well. And some of the nice benefits of that is you get a whole bunch of classic Nintendo games for free to play. And they have really great abilities to like pause and rewind those old Nintendo games. Yeah, so the ones that are like brutal tough, you can always just rewind when you make a mistake. Another game I was going to really recommend for you from a Sega standpoint, if you liked Sonic at all, there was a Sonic game made by kind of the world champion Sonic player. And it was eventually licensed by Sega, and it's called Sonic Mania. It's dirt cheap. You can easily get it for under $15 most times, and it is the finest Sonic game on Earth all around. If you love strategy games and kind of like intellect chess type games, Fire Emblem Three Houses is great. It's a little pricey. It's hard to get under $40. But Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle is like XCOM, but with Mario, and you can get the full edition usually for $18 with all the fun add-ons. So that's a terrific strategy game that has a lot of good playability to it and a lot of good difficulty to it. I'm a classic fighter guy. I love like Streets of Rage 4, which surprised me, is an amazing game. And if you like things like the old Star Fox or in-space fighter games, Starlink is dirt cheap. Like even the most advanced system is, or the most advanced games like $18-20, and it's a terrific game. Ah, interesting. I don't know how they can do that with the Switch. I think if you Crash Bash, you know, I did love Crash Team Racing was one of my favorite games in the PS2, and I know that they have that on the Switch, and I know that Crash, It's About Time, I think one of their newer games is also on the Switch now too. Crash, and I think you've heard me say this before, I am like one of the worst platformers I've ever met. I can't even beat like 3 levels in any Mario game. And I mean, you've seen me sit here on this same jumping level here in Gris for the last, what, 10 minutes now? So things like Crash and heavy platforming games, I'm really not that good at. However, one of the games I did buy, yeah, I don't believe you can hack a second-gen Switch. The first-gen Switches were super, like I could have sold mine for way more than I got back from Best Buy, because the hacking mods, I believe, were all for the first-gen Switch. They may have come out with new ones for the Gen 2 Switch, but I know Nintendo is really fighting against it. And you know what? I never have a problem with that. I mean, in my youth, I had tons of games that I would just pirate and stuff, but I can pay for it. These people work their butts off to program well, and it's really beautiful, and I love the games, so I want to give them their due. Do you have places to buy the cartridges, or just download? Is that about all you can pick up? Yeah, I really find it valuable to do, because if you don't, they disappear. They really do. And I know that piracy only amounts for such a teeny amount of game sales, so I'm not all bent out of shape about it, but I like to vote for things with my money, because money makes the world go around, and I can choose where I put that. And that's why I love to support creators, because like these people who make Gris and other stuff like that, I can show that they need to make more games like this because of who they are. And if I give them the money that they deserve, they can make more games. Are you at a place where you can buy physical cartridges, or? Okay. Yeah, well, the beauty is, I'll show you here just real quick. If I go to settings, you can see how much space I have. I have a 250 gig SD card and the 32 gigs internal. And with 120 games, it's almost loaded up. And a lot of my games are cartridge, because I don't like taking up hard drive space. The other benefit I love about, yes, it is. It's a terribly expensive business. Good. The thing I like about physical cartridges, and why I go out of my way to get them, is they still have a trade-in value. For instance, there's a lot of stores around me that will buy back cartridges. So, for instance, say I buy a new game at $60, I can still trade it in at half that price. So, I can enjoy playing the game, and then get myself another game from a used place, and hypothetically only pay $30 for a game, which is what I did. Like when what was it? The Zelda. Yeah, I recommend that. There's some great prices on eBay, like amazing prices on eBay, but I don't know if they ship to where you're at. Like a lot of my games I could get so cheap on eBay. If I didn't have great stores in town that help me or buy back from me so well, I would probably do all my shopping on eBay. But luckily my town has some terrific buyback stores where I can just, like, for instance, I got what is it here? I got what was it? I think it was Dragon Quest and Fire Emblem for, I think, together $45, something like that, $35. I don't know, with trade-ins, of course. And it's just so nice to be able to get some great games and trade them. Like Pikmin here, I think I got for $15 after trading in another game for it. So I really love the ability just to keep trading in my games instead of buying them all digitally. There's a real benefit to having them all digitally because you never have to put in a cartridge or ever worry about it. But when I'm done playing a game, I'm done playing a game sometimes. Some games, unlike Zelda, don't have a lot of replayability. Zelda, you could play forever and ever and ever. But like the old Zelda, the remake, I forget what they called it. I had it as a kid. The one where he was in the boat wreck and the windfish and all that stuff. Ah. So, for instance, I beat that old Zelda, but it was an expensive game. Yes. Was that it? Ocarina of Time? It's the one where he's stranded on the island. That might be it. I wish I could remember it. But, for instance, when I was done with that game, I kind of, completed it. And so there's no reason for me to really... It's a good enough guess. Better than I know. So when I was done with it, I traded in the cartridge, and I'm glad I did. Because it was a short game, I play games very slowly. It still took me 10 hours. But, 10 hours at $60, that's a pretty poor investment, really, in my opinion, in the gaming world. So it was nice that I could get, $30 or $40 back for it at one of our shops over here and put it towards another game. So, but yeah, barring having those kind of shops in your town, I would recommend eBay all the way. I do know that eBay has some great abilities to ship just about anywhere in the world. So, again, you can't go wrong with Zelda. If you're tight pressed and want something just like Zelda, hypothetically, that Immortals Phoenix Rising is great. It actually has a little bit more brain puzzles than Zelda, if that's things you like, kind of challenging puzzles and dungeons. If you like racing games, I can suggest a few of those. There's tons of options. They also have, right over here, a game I was happy to buy and is now pretty darn cheap. Sega Genesis Classics. It has like 50 Genesis games in it, and it's usually 15 to 20 bucks. It's a real good price for super classic games, if you like those in the Genesis era. So, tons of good games. Almost hard to beat it as a system, and I love the portability. I mean, the ability to take it to work and just, just enjoy it wherever or in your car. I mean, it's second to none, really. It's hard to imagine not having a game like this, a game system like this. I can see why it's outsold everything for months. Do you have siblings at all? Or roommates? Ah, well, something I'd recommend, if you've ever played. Wow, that's wonderful. I have a friend who had 11 kids too. I was just talking about him today with my counselor and wondering if he was crazy, but you know. One of the games that I think is um, kind of like Dragon Quest, like the epitome of the genre, like the best of the best of the best. I can't think of a better RPG than Dragon Quest ever. Um, but one of the greatest games that allows for terrific group play is where is it here? Is the Mario Kart. Mario Kart 7 is just it's amazingly fun. And the beauty of the Switch is by default it comes with two controllers. So you can play Mario Kart quite easily, at least with somebody else in your house. And by just buying another set of controllers, you can easily get four people playing. And I just have loads and loads and loads of controllers because I love that ability. They have basketball games. I think Y2K19, which is a terrific basketball game. I think that cost me $3 last year, and you can have just oodles of players on that with all the Joy-Cons. I don't know if other people in your family enjoy gaming as much as you do, but I don't know of anybody who doesn't like to play a little bit of Mario Kart. And it controls so well. Like the old Mario Kart games, I had one in '94 on the Super Nintendo, and I couldn't play that game to save my life. I mean, I could kind of get through it, but I couldn't enjoy it like Mario Kart 7 on the Switch. Mario Kart on the Switch is amazing. Unfortunately, all those Switch games are still fairly expensive. They rarely go on sale. Like March 10th, Mario Day, as they like to say, is a great sale day for Mario stuff. Of course, in America, around our Thanksgiving tends to be a really good sale day as well. Another nice thing about Switches is they're region free. So if you own a Switch, you can have different accounts, like for Great Britain or America or Japan, and the really neat thing is if there's a sale in any one of those locations, you can simply buy your games there, and they'll apply to your Switch, which is really terrific. And I know a lot of YouTubers and casters that have multiple Switch accounts for that reason, just to catch the deals. Or even for that matter, some games that aren't in other areas, like there's some Japan-only games that a lot of people like to buy by having a login over there. And then there's a lot of little games like Gris and stuff like that that are just really reasonably priced. I think Gris cost me under $5. There's sales all the time. And if you have a Nintendo account, Yep, yep. Switch, you mean? And if you do get a first-gen Switch, again, you can totally hack it. I know that they actively fight against that, and that is just something that I didn't want to kind of get into. I had a Wii U, and I totally hacked my Wii U, and that was a blast. It could play every Nintendo game and all this stuff. It was just really fun to have a totally modified Wii U. It could do so much. But at the time that I got my Switch, I was just so happy that I didn't have to go through all the rigmarole of programming and hacking and ripping it to pieces and all that stuff. And they were really fighting tooth and nail against hackers in the early days. And so often, if you modified it, they'd totally stop things on you or disable your account, and it just wasn't worth it to me. Yep. Yeah, I agree. Oh, interesting. How does eBay work for you guys? Do you? Where are you located, if you don't mind me asking? Oh, wonderful. I have a lot of friends who came from Nepal and Bhutan. I don't know what you consider Asian subcontinents, but mm. Yeah, that must be difficult. I'm so glad you get to connect on things like streams here, and ask these questions. I hope it's helpful for you. It's nice to. Yeah. I've heard a lot of great and a lot of bad from Alibaba. Sometimes you get what you want, and sometimes you get had, unfortunately. It's too bad things like eBay aren't a little more, I guess, prevalent, where you can kind of hold people accountable, so to speak, or at least eBay does. I know that if you don't get what you bought, a lot of times in eBay they will reimburse you, which is great. And I've never had one problem with eBay. Never had somebody give me something that they didn't promise, which was great. Yeah, that can be super tough. And like, do you have a lot of import taxes and all that other stuff too? Almost wish I could just send you stuff. But I know that shipping to places like that. I have missionary friends. Yeah, oh, yep. God, so rough. I have a missionary friend in Africa, and the kind of stuff she deals with all the time is just so rough. Getting like falsely arrested, so to speak. Yeah, that's true. Hopefully you aren't getting in trouble for just walking down the street. Well, you have such a great view on so many things in life. I really appreciate your balanced view of things. And I do wish you luck. I'm so glad you asked. And as you share the kind of games you just utterly love, I will do my best to share their Nintendo Switch analogs, so to speak, with you if you want. Again, there's, in my opinion, no way at all to go wrong with Zelda. There's thousands of hours of play there if you just want to keep playing. Um, so, and if you want to complete it, I know that a full completion of that game takes about 500 hours, which is plenty of time. See, what was that last thing you said? Yeah, God, it's so rough. I'm so sorry that's a reality. I think that does tend to be a truth of things just about everywhere in the world, with the discrepancy of rich and poor. I think that's why I do love democracy, with hopefully the intent that that can be changed by people who want to change it. Yeah. Well, you know, once you get the Switch, you should be able to buy that kind of stuff online. And I know that online it's only, through whatever, you can create an American login on the Switch. It doesn't have to be Asian. It doesn't have to be all these areas. So for us, Zelda is $59, which is still a quarter of your salary or so. A little more, I guess. But that again is just the download, not the physical copy. Again, if you want like a cheaper version, Phoenix Immortals Rising is great, and it's just like Zelda. It doesn't have the, I would say, continual playability. Yeah. Well, and I don't know how it is there, but one of the truths I know is that so often it's the local laws and magistrates that actually really affect our life more so than the president. Yeah, a digital copy, especially on like Mario Day, March 10th, which is a whole other year away, unfortunately. But occasionally Nintendo will have some really great sales, and they'll knock those games like Zelda and Mario Odyssey, which is another amazing game, down to $35, which is an absolute steal. Of course, those are digital, but it's pretty great. Do you have much control over your local magistrates? Ah, no problem. Well, for us, like our local governors and police and city councils and stuff like that, that really affects our lives a lot more than our president. I mean, there are some really large laws that the president does do stuff with, but yeah. I find that what really affects our lives are our senators and our cities. But it's easier to complain about the president. Well, I do think I'm going to have to kind of call it a day here with my schedule. It's been such a pleasure talking to you again, and I do hope I've given you some good direction on how to spend some money with the Switch. And always just toss out a whisper if you have other questions or other games that you'd like kind of analogs. I agree with that. It's easier to complain about stuff you haven't done anything about, though. And I think that that's where a lot of people like to be, where they can just complain about the problems instead of actually going to a city meeting and talking about it. Oh, you're such a generous and compassionate person. You know, even just talking with me is talking about me. I'm not here to talk about myself. I'm here to make a community. But I do really relish the ways you care about other people. I think you're doing so well at that, and just surprise me every time I talk with you about how open and compassionate you are and well-rounded. You're such a nice individual to know. I want to thank you for taking the time to even communicate with me today and be with me. It really is a pleasure and an honor. So, can't wait to see you again. And apparently it'll take me a little more than an hour, I guess, to finish this level. They're getting bigger as I go. But time with you is awesome. I can't wait till the next time we bump into each other. And thanks so much for spending time today. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Mushi. Have a great day. Well, prepare to be spoiled. It's all right. I find there's enough people who don't praise people in this world. I can tell the truth when it's good. You know, I know a lot of people rip people down for no reason whatsoever, and it doesn't need to be that way. So when I see good things, I like to declare them. Again, it's been a pleasure spending time with you. Have a great day, Mushi. So again, we're wrapping up here on Gris, halfway through The Color Yellow, and we'll jump into it again sometime soon. Thank you all for joining in the chat. Thank you, Mushi. It's been great to spend time with you. Can't wait to bump into you again. And if you have friends or other people who you want to share this channel with, feel free to. And have a good day, all. Thank you so much. And for all those here on YouTube, it's a pleasure to be with you too. Please feel free to chat, share your questions, anything that we talked about, questions from the game, questions about that our chatters stream chat was having with Nintendo questions. Feel free to throw in your own 2 bits. What are your favorite Switch games? Why? What would you recommend somebody who makes $200 a month spend their Nintendo money on? And thanks again for liking, subscribing, and commenting. It means the world to us. Have a great day. Bless you all in your journey to be the best you. And I hope this time has helped you choose that in some small way and take a step forward. Have a great day from Transcendent Studios. We love you here, and you can do it.